Hey, everybody. Welcome to the morning market briefing. It's Monday, August 24th, 2026. Hope you're doing well out there. Ben, Tom, how we feeling?
Feeling strong. It's going to be a big day.
Big day. What are you most excited about, Tom?
I'm pretty excited about this 2 o'clock economic D-Day conference.
Yeah.
I guess press conference that Scott Bessent's going to have. It's been teased all the weekend. People are talking about he's going to get up there and he's going to lay out exactly how he's going to destroy the economic viability of Iran. So, it's going to be great. It's going to be goosebumps. He's going to be absolutely taking scalps all over the place.
He's going to be so sassy.
If he takes questions, he's going to just devastate people with his catty remarks.
How long do you think this thing will go? Because I wouldn't hate it going like 3 hours.
I have no idea. He's usually pretty quick, but once he gets on the mic and he's getting questions asked, he can be pretty. He's got a little flair about him.
Yeah, prepared remarks maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but once he gets in a back and forth, he might.
He's not a great reader off the teleprompter.
No.
He doesn't like to do that. Same, but also he's not. He'll do a little stumbling with that, I think. But
I know the content, and then every once in a while there's like a little bit of like, how was I supposed to transition this?
Yeah, his brain moves too fast for the page. A lot of people are saying,
and definitely too fast for the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be electric. So yeah, Bessent laying out plans to inflict an economic D-Day. That's at 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
I've been seeing one. CNN said one, but
I thought it was 2.
Well, I mean, it's
Fake
CNN.
news.
We'll see.
Yeah, they'll have you tune in at 1 so they can say he's late.
Yeah. It'll be the preview and like, oh, Scott Bessent talks at 1:30 and like, oh, he's late.
Still late. The IRGC does say that this is just amounting to an implicit admission of the enemy's humiliating defeat in the military arena. So.
Oh yeah, okay. The known truth tellers.
Yeah.
Speaking truth to power.
Yeah. So that's going to be electric. And then Warsh, kind of top of mind right now as well, Tom.
There's been a handful
Timiraos.
of Timiraos.
He's back.
I haven't listened to it yet, but I know he put out an emergency podcast this weekend, which I don't know how many people listen. We don't get a ton of listens on the podcast. That Spotify does well. YouTube still trying to get that off the ground. Like, subscribe, share, friend, whatever. Yeah. But I can't imagine there are people who are just waiting to listen to Nick Timiraos try and take down Kevin Warsh on his emergency podcast, of which he puts out 4 a year. But I did kind of read the summary of it. It's basically him trying to say that Kevin Warsh is out to be iconic. He wants to be Alan Greenspan. He's just in it for the clout maxing. So we'll see. I think that Timiraos absolutely hates Kevin Warsh because he's just the antithesis of Nick Timiraos, who's just and I mean, listen, the wagons are circled up on old Timmy. He's in trouble. Bessent's out to get him. Kevin Warsh doesn't think about him at all. I think that's a major problem for him. So, but he's basically saying that if you look at Kevin Warsh's track record, he's actually been wrong on his economic forecasts, and let he among us who has not been wrong on an economic forecast cast the first stone, is what I say. But Nick Timiraos, notably, also very wrong repeatedly, and when he is wrong, he doesn't tweet about it at all. Yeah. So.
And what's most frustrating about him being wrong is I'm trying to think of a good sports comparison here. He's the guy that turns on the game, and some team is winning by 4 touchdowns in the third quarter, and he's like, "Well, they're definitely going to win."
Yeah,
and then they don't, and he doesn't say anything else about it.
I mean, an example I would give.
He would be a prime freezing cold takes guy.
Yeah,
if he were in the sports world.
Nick Timiraos he's really the sport of soccer, which is that anytime anyone runs near him, he falls down and screams like he's dying and then has to be stretchered off. But then quietly, after the game, after he's celebrating, he trips over the thing on the sideline and breaks his arm. And notably, when he broke his arm, he wasn't rolling around and screaming. So I think everything that's wrong with America might be just Nick Timiraos. That's the most underrated thing of the entire World Cup. And I don't want to besmirch soccer any more than we already have, but the one time someone actually did get hurt, it wasn't on the field, and he didn't writhe around screaming.
He was stepping over a barrier that was about 2.5 feet high.
And broke his wrist.
And it was awesome.
He also came out with an article, to your point, saying, we don't really know how Kevin Warsh thinks. And then he's like, but fortunately, if you know where to look like me, there's a trove of evidence on exactly how he thinks. So, Warsh doesn't even know that Timiraos knows what Warsh is thinking.
He's got him pegged.
Yeah.
But I mean,
reading his diary.
And the thing is, I think Warsh probably reads this article and is like, yeah, I don't know what's necessarily going to happen, and neither do my colleagues on the committee, which is why we're not going to try to make economic forecasts anymore. Like, this is the whole reason why we're not going to do this.
I mean, it's the hardest part.
We haven't been right.
I mean, even if you buy Timiraos' argument that this guy is perpetually wrong, it's okay, well, let's not do it.
I mean, things change, and that's part of life, too. I mean, even if he was wrong 15 years ago, we're all different people than we were 15 years ago. I mean, it's part of human evolution to be like, the more you don't know. I mean, what you don't know is the most important thing. What you do know is done, dusted, right? I mean, the most important book is the one you haven't read yet. And unfortunately for everyone, 2027, not yet written. And so you can't read it. You can't know what's going to happen.
There was a little bit of intellectual honesty disguised as smirk in the report, too. He said, Warsh may have a more unconventional view of what causes inflation. He says, rooted less in demand-side indicators like in unemployment and more in supply-side government policies. It's like, yeah, I think Warsh would also agree with that. But I think there was like an element of snark in how Timiraos, the tone, I don't know, maybe it's just because I've read so many of this guy's article, but you can pick up on these nuances of when Timiraos is endorsing something and when he's not. And he was not endorsing the supply-side view.
Yeah, and that's very few people do, but unfortunately, that's what we're doing right now. And I can't help but keep coming back to that quote from that Bottom Wisdom podcast with Jimmy Carr, where he said, if you focus on equality, you get scarcity. If you focus on abundance, then you get satisfaction. And we have to focus on abundance. That's the thing, is like, we artificially created too much scarcity by focusing so much on equality. Focusing on importing 20 million people from other countries to do the lowest paid jobs in this country creates scarcity under the flag of equality. Like, oh, we should just, everyone is welcome. We're all going to do this. But what it does is it creates scarcity for everyone.
Andrew and I were talking with a client on last Wednesday, about the rebuild in Southern California following the fires.
Yep.
And it was just remarkable because this client had just got back from there and was saying, I can't believe the fires were that long ago because nothing has been built. Well, we've created scarcity out of something that did not need to be scarce.
Well, what they did is, the regulation piece, but, they raised all that money for the victims. They gave that money to charities that were supposed to give that money and create grants to build those things, give the money to people who lost their homes. What they did is they gave grants to other charities, those charities which were used for ballot harvesting.
Yeah.
So all that money just went right back into the system. People donated their hard-earned dollars to help people who were fire victims, and that money went to, basically paying people on Skid Row to vote against Spencer Pratt. So, I mean, that's
they got him.
Congratulations, guys. That's what California is. It's just one massive grift. And that's what happens when, the government takes over and starts filtering this money through all these NGOs. I mean, this is maybe the biggest revelation of the last 10 years is how this whole operation works.
It's remarkable to me that people really don't, that it took so long to see this. It really is. Canada, crying in their cereal this morning, not liking the tariff deal. As it turns out, this was not good for them.
Yeah, I mean, I do think some of this is on, a lot of this is on the U.S. negotiating team, which I think they intentionally have like good cop, bad cop. Jameson Greer is good cop. Howard Lutnick is bad cop. And then so Jameson Greer will have a handshake, and then Howard Lutnick will say, actually, we're going to interpret this handshake as different than Canadians interpreted. And the Canadians were just shocked that basically they were like, it's not even one thing. It's everything was interpreted badly from our handshake deal. And then when we saw the fine print, it's like we didn't get a single, it was all skewed toward the United States to the extent of
they're now retaliating.
Limiting the use of French in Canada.
Oops.
And so
It's the art of the deal, man.
Now, I have heard from actual French people that the language they speak, the Quebecois, as they refer to themselves, is not French, but it's a form of French that it's like if you drop, it's kind of like the Darwinian thing where you drop the swallows off on the island and they slowly morphed into something else, because apparently they have a large mix of like, they use the word cool a lot, so they're like, instead of something being like K magnifique in theory, they would say
K cool.
they would say super cool with a French accent. And if it, like, you know, like, so like Quebecois is like a weird, it's like a weird like hillbilly 18th century French that never evolved, but then also picked up like saying English words
cool
with a French
things.
accent, is my understanding from actual French people, who, as we know, do not like people speaking French incorrectly.
Yeah.
So,
the U.S. is retaliating, and saying now we're going to have a 50% tariff on $20 billion of U.S. Canadian goods, which, I mean, given the amount of trade that we do with Canada, I think that this is getting more headline play than actually
that's not a huge number.
impacts. I think it's mostly like steel, aluminum related to the automobile industry, which I expect to get rolled back. I mean, this is just how many times have we seen this over the last couple of years from the Trump administration?
But
I mean, the problem is they're a culturally irrelevant country, and we have a lot of chips and they don't.
and
I mean, that's the problem they have, is they think, oh, we're on equal standing because we are America's hat. But in fact, they're not on equal standing. The only thing they really imported of any value was Norm Macdonald, and unfortunately, he's passed away.
the beauty of this, though, is that Carney is now getting praise from China, calling their response a Chinese-style counterattack, and saying that
Great
more
job,
countries
Canada.
are realizing that concessions toward the U.S. do not necessarily bring respect and stability. So you've got the good guys in your corner, Canada.
I mean, I do think this is relevant from a standpoint that I think a lot of Europeans or people who are against the United States right now and how the U.S. is doing business will use this as a, rallying cry. But I don't think it ultimately
I mean, at the end
will
of the
hold
day,
water.
and this is, I mean, it might sound harsh, but we're the only country doing business. You know, people are like, oh, well, England is the 7th largest economy. It's like, well, London is the 7th largest economy, and it's surrounded by a third world country that's becoming fourth world quickly. You know, and they don't seem to be understanding of that.
Tom woke up ready to go
You
today.
know, like they just don't. I mean, what is England like? You know, like when World War II broke out, yeah, it's great to be aligned with England. You know, they're an economic, industrial, military powerhouse. What are they now? They've got some banks
Soccer.
in one city,
Got some soccer.
and that's it. Same with France. Same with, Spain is absolutely in the toilet. Just give it a goog, you know. I mean, like these are all, like, why do you want to be allies with those people? I'd rather be allies with Argentina, who seems to be on the up and up, as opposed to,
They're scrapping at least.
Yeah, they got further than England in their own game.
Ben, let's talk AI inflation. Nvidia bringing up server system prices 15% early next year.
Yeah, I don't know if this is actually driven by Nvidia or if it's driven by the guys installing the systems, because I think a lot of it's due to memory chips. And so they sent out notifications to all their customers, Google, Microsoft, Oracle. They're all going to be spending 15% more or so beginning next year, primarily due to the memory chip prices. So I think this is interesting from Nvidia's standpoint. There could be an element of demand destruction if you're paying 15% more for a chipset that has, on a percentage basis, less GPU content. So that could be a potential negative for Nvidia, but it's going to be a positive for all these like asset-backed securities that we've been talking about, because it's demonstrating that these chipsets actually hold or even increase in value over time. And so I don't think Nvidia would be complaining too much about that.
Yeah, it's like you're financing it and you're getting it for longer. Because what's the company that reported that they were extending the life of their A100 chips up to 8 years or something?
Yeah, it was
Lumentum. Yeah,
yeah, something like that.
Then they were saying like, hey, we're getting a lot of life out of these things, which makes the ABS part work. You know, it's like if you've got a much longer useful life out of these things.
Delta's supposedly going to start using some AI pricing models. Important to note here, though, and I would imagine this would apply to plastic surgeons as well. Ed Bastian, CEO, says that AI, he never refers to AI as artificial intelligence. It's just augmented intelligence. So if you're in the market for an augmentation, it's just augmenting.
This is getting a lot of play online because it's like, well, AI is going to produce inflation because it's going to allow Delta to increase prices, because every time Tom goes on Delta looking at flights to Puerto Rico, it's going to increase the prices because he's very interested in it, and he's going to see the prices going up and up and up and up. So he'll get a higher price than Hicks, who is just like, on a whim, I'm going to go.
I mean, the things he says about Puerto Ricans.
Yeah. Hicks, known disparager of Puerto Rico. So, yeah, they'll probably pay Hicks to go. We got Bessent coming out later today. What's top of mind for you guys this week?
Yep. It's like every other day. We got Bessent today, Nvidia Wednesday evening, and then Warsh on Friday morning. But we get a bonus on Friday morning. It's the annual BLS job revision. And I just cannot wait to see how many millions of jobs we actually did not create last year.
Get your short-term treasuries in now, because rates are coming down.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Talk to you guys soon.